Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of simPRO Chats with Daz Adz. My name's Adam McVeigh, I'm from amak Consulting, and as always, my partner in crime.
I'm Darren and I'm from Platinum Consultants. Great to be here. We have a special guest today.
We do. Who have we got, Daz?
We've got Hayden from SyncEzy. Welcome, Hayden.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for inviting me along for a little bit of a chat about the systems.
No worries. It's good to have you here, man. So, for everyone out there, bit of a history on SyncEzy. So apparently, you guys have been knocking about for about 6 years now, helping customers do integrations with simPRO and offering really cool little side products and everything else. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, man?
Sure. So Harry, who's the owner of the business, started about 6 years ago, and specifically just to help people get information in and out of simPRO. They wanted to do things like timesheeting or a CRM system, or just something that added benefit onto the powerhouse that is simPRO. Just trying to really add some functionality to it. So literally we push and pull information. That's what we do as a business. Is a really simple version, but at higher level, it's business software integration. So across a range of industries, different platforms, and we're sort of branching out now to other areas as well. So it's it's good sort of business, and it's fun to be part of because every conversation is a little bit different with a customer, and you learn a lot.
Yeah, it would be, because you'd be kind of chatting to customers and all their kind of requirements, seeing as you are a bit of a custom expert. They would all be completely niche and unique, and probably at the same time quite similar.
You see a lot of generalities between customers, but I think once you start to apply a bit of business knowledge and also their industry knowledge, and just having an understanding of what they do as a business and actually speaking to them on their terms, I find it sort of cuts down all of that. In the end, we're an IT business, but when it looks at, we're sort of more trying to help their relationship and help their business grow, just like you guys do. And so I think from that aspect, if you know their business and you know the way they speak and the way they want to be spoken to, then you can actually, cut it all down, and you have some better conversations in the end of it, and you get to the core of what their issues are.
Awesome. Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So leave it with you guys. You got some questions to ask?
We do. So what products do you guys actually offer? So what do you guys offer out in the market?
Yeah. So simPRO is like a good sort of touch point of our business. It brings a lot of people into what they want to do. And to add that functionality, as I said, with simPRO. So probably some of the core integrations that we do are timesheeting with Tsheets, where we replicate jobs over in Tsheets as staff do work, similar to sort of simPRO Mobile, but it just really simplifies it down to timesheets, pay rate engine, notes and photos. And then we sort of add functionality to the front end of the business for simPRO. So things like CRM. So we do a lot of integrations with Zoho CRM, but we've also Salesforce, Infusionsoft, a whole range. And then, smaller ones like Xero integration for payroll, just literally taking timesheets from simPRO, putting them over in Xero. Really simple, moving it across with a little bit of a pay rate engine so that businesses don't have to do that manual entry into Xero payroll. And then from there, we do other things like data warehousing for simPRO, getting a data backup, presenting it to a data warehouse, Power BI, Zoho Analytics, Tableau, whatever sort of platform you want to use, you can use it through that. And then, MailChimp, Asana, KeyPay, Deputy. We've got about 20 applications that we sort of deal with. But one of the things that we like to do is we're not a Swiss Army knife. We're not like a one-trick pony, or like sort of like a multi-tool kind of thing. We're very specific about the integrations that we do. They're deeper functionality than you can get off the shelf, and we build on those over time. So the functionality sort of grows, and customers have been with us for 5 or 6 years, have seen that functionality grow over time so that it's got a greater depth for them. So as our scale grows with our customer base, they bring on ideas, and then we bring those ideas into our development and then release those out to market.
Fantastic. Do you have any favorite integrations among those?
I had a history of working as a project manager rolling out simPRO in a business. And the one touch point I didn't have then was a CRM. So CRM is probably my favorite in a way, just because of the what it can do for businesses. And like, you know, if I was rolling simPRO in a business, it was like, oh, I really need CRM to do this. And it does everything that we want it to do. And we continually build on that. But I'm a data nerd as well. So like behind me, I've got my, like, you know, knowledge is beautiful, information is beautiful books, all my data stuff that I love to do. And so doing things like Power BI and any analytics packages sort of where it, you know, it's like my happy place. But Harry just sort of goes, oh, you're such a nerd. And like, we throw it, you know, I'm a nerd, he's a geek, and we play it between each other. So yeah, it's a bit of fun.
Nice.
Fantastic. So you mentioned about CRMs, and most of our customers, obviously simPRO customers, are trades customers. Now, a lot of the bosses and the managers and directors of these companies, they've just started it. They don't necessarily have, you know, 3 degrees in business and management and marketing. So simPRO does some CRM stuff, but it's quite basic. What actually can a CRM tool do for a company, and how do they use it? And does it save time, or does it bring business, or what are your customers doing with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a combination of both. And look, over the past sort of year, we've had, you know, you have 2 types of customers coming to us as a business. One that have used simPRO for a long period of time and have learnt what the limits of the CRM capabilities in simPRO are. And so they've had to then start to reach out to us to build on that. And then, so we don't try to change their workflow in simPRO. They do their quotes, they do their jobs. Their operation center is their operation center of the business in respect to simPRO. But what we want to do is streamline the front end, or even looking at it from a key account management point of view and look at an oversight of the business. So those businesses, and we deal with both B2B style businesses, but also the B2C, so the electrical trade businesses that are going straight to residential. And they both, you know, in a way that simPRO customers use it really differently, our CRM customers use it entirely differently as well. Some are using it as a full sales channel, from lead management, lead generation, all the way through to customer, and then quoting. And then others are not even using a sales cycle. They're actually using it from a management and an oversight of the business to look at what jobs are happening in that territory at the moment. So it's a hard question to answer directly, but majority of them wanting sort of more outbound information. So what they can do for touch points to their customer. So, you know, specifically with Zoho, we integrate with a CRM database, and then Zoho has a range of applications that sit over top of that, like bulk mailing campaign or bulk mailing program, like a version of MailChimp, but it's called Zoho Campaigns. There's surveys, analytics tools, web chat, web tracking. So once you add those things on, you're basically adding either touch points for inbound, but also connecting to your current client base. And sometimes it's better for them to go to this system because they get the best of both worlds. They're getting simPRO working really well for job management, costing, invoice, labor, but then they need a system to be able to do that front end. And, you know, it's worked pretty well for most of the businesses we've touched on. And I guess the newer businesses in the past 6 months, and there's been a lot in England, you know, you guys don't touch over in the UK, but we've had a huge amount of growth. I think simPRO's really pushed new sales over in that area. And a lot of those businesses have come on with both Zoho or a CRM. So we've had Salesforce, etc. They've come on at the same time. So they've come on with simPRO and Zoho at the same time, and they're running parallel. So they're starting up a new business and they're just moving that really fast forward. So it's, everyone's a bit different, but it's worked quite well for them.
So just to, I guess, give specific examples of how it might work. So if I've got a website, for example, and then someone says, you know, can you send me a quote? Mm-hmm. So that might automatically go into Zoho then. Sure. And it could also send an automatic response and possibly even create the contact in simPRO.
Absolutely. Yeah. So from lead management, we can have any sort of channel of information coming in. So whether it's a web form, whether it's a phone call, email, web chat, and web tracking, all of that can come in as a lead. Lead can then be nurtured through the sales process, then be converted over to a contact. That can be full automated. And I guess the power of something like a really, really good detailed CRM is the you've got your workflows like you do have in simPRO, where something happens like a status change and then something else happens.
Mhm.
But in the CRM, you can do workflows, but with blueprints, and a blueprint will sort of force the staff in the business to put the information in the correct manner, that it's complete, and that you've got all of it right, and before it'll go to the next step. And a really good example is we've got a customer in the UK, facilities management company, and they want to make sure they've got all the contacts for the security company at that business when they go there. So they want to fill out that they've got the security company name, the phone number, the access codes, all of that, and they've got to fill it in the right detail. And then that will then add to the site notes in simPRO, so we can push all that through. So that's just sort of one example, but the quote follow-ups, job follow-ups, surveys after a job's completed, all of those things that are, that question you asked about, what are we trying to do for the business? Well, we're never one to say, hey, look, reduce your staff because we're going to give you this great amount of software. It's more about what can those staff do to build your business more, because you've already got knowledge in them. So use their knowledge, build on that knowledge, and just take the automation out of it. So so those automation touch points are the ones that we like to do, because it just saves the business money, but also allows that staff to grow in the business.
Yeah, I'd imagine that if you have these campaigns and where someone hasn't opened the email or has opened the email, you can do something with that. And with surveys and maybe just, how do we go? Can you let us know if you have any issues? It shows that you care. And I think if you're automating that, it doesn't mean that you care any less. It just usually people are too busy to do those things. And as a customer, even if you don't really want to fill in the survey, you sort of go, okay, these guys are pretty switched on. They've got some good technology. And if I really did have a complaint, maybe I could give them a low score on the survey. And that then one of those staff members who has less to do can give me a call back. But I would imagine that would give you better retention of customers and a lot more repeat business, right? So once
it's also like
stuff,
taking in that, you've got to make sure that the language that you use from those follow-up emails is different. It's not the same thing coming out. So, the question you asked before about, having the marketing degrees or the sales degrees or whatever about it, it just comes down to, like I teach my daughter, how do you want to be treated? Well, if you're a customer of that business, how do you want to be spoken to? It's not the same robotic email. Just change your text, change your wording, change your copy that you're going to try in each email. And if it can be over three, it's 3 emails that you write once, you've templated it. It looks like you're caring, which you are, because you put thought into it the whole way through. And then you've built on that over time. So those are the good touch points that take automation, but make it like you're getting a hug at the same time, which is a bit weird in this day and age when we can't even see people. You can't touch them. You're over there.
Yeah, but who doesn't like hugs? Hugs are great. So speaking of hugs, really horrible segue. There's just a couple of other little simple integrations that are in there. So you touched on like the Xero payroll integration. I mean, that to me kind of stands out as a massive time saver. So like, how's that work? You mentioned that you got simPRO having the times entered in, Xero is where you paid out. And then kind of you've got some middleware, I assume, that you go into to actually then vet what's been entered into simPRO to push.
Yeah, that's right. So essentially we're a middleware company. So we pull that information from simPRO, put it to our application portal, which is a custom built portal for that customer. It provides a connection point and a pairing between the information in simPRO and the information in Xero. And then you've got a match between the time entries that were done. Now, what we also do is apply an overtime or a pay rate engine to sort of go, if a worker has a 7.6 hour per day working rate that they're meant to be doing, they get to 8 hours and they hit overtime. So that overtime will then automatically calculate to time and a half for that pay rate for that person. They get above a certain rate, they'll go to double time. And we can apply that on certain days as well. So that as a price point is quite attractive, because that is purely saving time, and it's also reducing double entry of data and any errors as well. And so that one works quite well. when it comes to it though, a lot of the conversations go, right, well, what's the functionality that your staff need in the field, and what's the information that you want to get back? And is it, is it easier pay, or is it easier job costing? And sort of where the job currently is in a pay cycle. So those sort of things combined together, Tsheets fits for a lot of customers. Mm-hmm. We've seen a good customer base where simPRO Mobile works perfectly for them because they need to do, purchase orders, pre-audits, post-audits, they need to do assets, everything else. So we listen to the customer and we find out what they need, and then we suggest the options for them. And we show them both. We're not going to be one to sort of move people towards one option. It's about what suits them the best. And if it doesn't work for them, we'll suggest other software solutions that might be not now sweet, but we can suggest and have a conversation. And that's what we like to do. We just like to understand the businesses that we're dealing with. And, over time they ask us for custom integrations that have sort of branched out, and we've done some big custom integrations, and they're fun. They take a lot of time.
They're pretty full on scoping.
It's that investigation piece, learning about, you guys from an implementation point of view, you learn a lot about, what's their pain point in the business right now. They've already done that step with simPRO, and they're understanding that now they want to know how they can build on that with an integration. It might be, an onboarding site. So if, for businesses that are dealing with the big shopping centers and they've got to go through an onboarding platform every time,
mm-hmm.
Why can't they just click a button and send all the information directly to, XYZ onboarding,
mm-hmm.
just to save them time? Because I've done it myself. To onboard in a shopping center with a team of like 10 guys takes you forever. It is one of the most time consuming things that you can do. So if we can streamline that, because you've got all the files in simPRO, you've got all their details, you've got all their licenses, just push it. That's a time saving. So that's what we like to do. But those custom integrations take a lot of time because it's, pilot programs, understanding the push and pull of information, and honestly, they can cost money, but in the end, it is a time saving for the business and reducing those errors.
Yeah, you'd want to make sure your return on investment was there for it. But I mean, if there wasn't a need for it in the first place, you wouldn't even have started the conversation. So
exactly right.
If there is something going wrong in your business, or is not going wrong, if there's a way to make something faster to save time is money. So even if it is an initial investment, that return on investment might pay itself off in 2, 3, 4 months.
Absolutely.
The rest of it's then gravy. So it makes perfect sense.
It's an interesting conversation though, and that's from our relationships that we build with customers. It's very much sort of trying to understand, trying to speak to them both in a functionality point of view, but also from a time saving or a cost saving. Mm-hmm. And you speak and you listen to customers. They need to save money, no problem. They need to save time, no worries. So we learn to speak, but we also tailor the packages towards them to be along that same line. So
excellent. So we were talking about the ability to retrieve data from simPRO, especially when you're on site. One thing that I come across a lot is people that need to retrieve their documents, and also people that need it sort of offline as well. And to some degree, they want to be able to edit a live document and know that it's the most recent version. So I heard that you've done a attachment sync with Google Docs and OneDrive, is it?
Yeah, so the one-way integration is complete from simPRO down to cloud storage devices. Our two-way one is in the sort of final week of dev, and we'll be doing testing from sort of next week, just at the start of sort of end of July, so end of June, went away. Oh God, really middle of the year, end of June. And yeah, it literally is just what you said. So we're moving information in a job folder structure from simPRO. Even if you're in your attachments in that job folder, you've put a job with multiple folders and multiple files. We'll bring all those down and synchronize those to your cloud storage. So Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and SharePoint as well. And SharePoint has that additional benefit of going to the relevant sites. So for a lot of the SharePoint libraries. The two-way one is, yeah, as I said, it was a bit of a longer process. simPRO have changed a few things in their API and their development. And so we've just released, or we're testing that at the moment, which is pushing that information up, which, you know, for a lot of businesses to be able to put files in one location, and they can start to use things like, you know, Power Automate by Microsoft, where they can just drop a file in there from email, automatically goes up into that job. So we're doing that across quotes, sites, jobs, and also employees on the top plan. So your employee files, you know, a new employee starts in an onboarding process, drop all your information in a file, mate, here you go. And that's all sucked up against them as a user in simPRO. So really streamlining that admin process. And we've done that across not just simPRO, but we're working in the sort of bigger construction space at the moment with software like Procore and that sort of stuff, which is a bigger construction project management software. So yeah, branching out from simPRO a little bit, but it's all got the same sort of methodology. It's what we do, is just sort of saving time. So
that's awesome. Like one of the massive wins that, because I'm hearing a lot of this for the first time as well, so I'm quite curious about this whole thing.
Cool.
One of the big things that I always get from my customers is saying, well, if I put all the licenses and pink cards and green cards and purple cards and whatever else they've got to have on site in their employee cards, how can I then get my technicians to use the app to show the site form and whoever it may be their relevant licenses? And I'm like, well, you can't, because you can't access those attachments from the employee card. But if you had a way to be able to just say, all right, Mr. Customer, here's the photos on the app. That's awesome. That's a really massive win for customers.
And in doing that, we're not actually we're not trying to test the boundaries of simPRO's application. What we're just doing is providing access to those files in something like OneDrive. You know, that individual user can have the business can share that with the staff member who's out in the field, or the manager has access to those 5 staff, and all his folders are there, and all those files are just there. So in a way, that's quicker and easier. You can zip up all those files, send them to one of those onboarding sites for those shopping center, for that example, and they can get all their folder structure and done in there. So so we match that down. You've got a J or a Q at the front, and S as well. And one of the other little tricks that we're doing, which we really like, is in each of those job folders, not only are bringing all the attachments, but we're bringing a quick summation of what that job is. So getting the job number, the job name, the project name, who the technician is, the site, the customer, as a text file. And then that ability is that you can just jump in Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, just search for it, and you'll find all the details. So it goes beyond just the attachments, and it actually goes into doing a searchability for the information. So for an admin person or a project manager in the field, they can get access to all those photos like straight away.
Smart. It's good.
That's really cool. That goes back to what one of your original statements you made at the start of this video, where you were saying we're not just a surface level integration, we're a deeper integration. It's thoughtful and it's meaningful to your customers out in the field, because the more offerings that you provide to them, ultimately the stickier they are for you as a customer. It's really
one of the, like, I met Hari, I've been working with him for about a year now, and I met him as a customer because I wanted to get a simPRO integration happening. And I was just on him. You got to do this. You got to do this. I'm still the same. I'm still doing the same thing to him now. You've got to get this going on. You've got to get this going on. So it's good. It's good to sort of have that experience of being a user of simPRO or a user of that software, to sort of put yourself in the customer's shoes and going, actually, this is what I would want as a software or an integration. And those things, those little benefits are not like someone just looks at the software as a flat sort of system and goes, oh, just do this. It's like, no, we want to do this because it can do this, this, and this for the customer. So that's where we like doing it.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Cool. Any other questions about anything that's kind of piqued your interest, Daz? Anything else that you want to have a bit of a chat about?
Well, I've been interested in all of it. So it's mostly new to me as well, because the only thing I've really known about is Tsheets. I've heard that Zoho is connected as well. But all this other stuff's really cool. I'm actually quite excited. You know, the solutions that you guys can offer will also make the customer more sticky to simPRO as well, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, like we probably get, to be honest, about 5 calls a week about customers that are researching simPRO, as a business, and they see that we integrate with it. So they called to ask us about the software, how it would work for them. So we're in a way, in effect, like this third-party sales channel where, you know, we go, okay, will it work for you? And we're honest. We're going to say, yes, it does. Yes, that won't work for you, but this will. And so that sort of knowledge is good to be able to speak to the customer with, to help them understand it. And there's like just little things over time that we've, from understanding simPRO and understanding what the needs of customers are, like, you know, in Tsheets is a really good one where the photos that are coming across from Tsheets, we just named what Tsheets named them. But now what we're doing is renaming them to who the staff member was, the date that it was taken, the job that it was taken on, and the date. So it's automatically renamed. So when it goes to simPRO, you can just search it. So just that little usability makes it nice and easy. So those things are fun to do, and they're great to release. And the problem is sometimes we've got so many release notes on all the little integrations that we do that it's sort of like I'm playing with it one day in a demo. I'm like, oh, awesome, you know, dive into it. And I sort of just do this segue in a demo, but it's it's good fun to do.
Maybe we could launch a side channel called SyncEzy Chats with Daz Adz, and we'll go.
That's right.
Yeah, totally.
So if anyone's interested in getting something more, getting a quote or just chatting to you about what can and can't be done,
for sure.
How can they contact you guys?
Yeah, a couple of ways. So anything just from our website, we've got web chat on there. So we use the Zoho platform for that. And then email us. I'm sure Ad will put my email at the bottom of this anyway from when that goes out. But so we've got sort of I've got three components of the way we do business. One is very much a full custom, and it's a longer development cycle, committed between 6 and 12, maybe 16 weeks. And then we customize that specifically for the customer. And it might be, a software that we haven't dealt with before that they specifically need. And so we work through with that. And there's, generally a higher cost for that. Other one of what we have is more of our scalable solutions. So things like the Zoho or the Tsheets integration, where we take the onboarding of the customer onto our software platform. We do all the hand holding, we get them running, and then we're there to sort of help train and implement them. And like you guys do when you're implementing simPRO, you're training them at the same time as you're actually turning the system on. So they have a knowledge about what they're doing, and we do the same thing. So with Zoho, we're building the application for them as we're working through, and we're training them how to do it. So we leave all these little carrots about, this is an example of a quote follow-up. This is an example of a workflow, that sort of stuff. With the newer integrations, like all our cloud integrations, our Power BI sort of data warehousing integration, they're very much, they're a lower setup fee, they're a lower monthly. And the reason for that is that we've built them on a newer platform. So that newer platform is a bit more of a self-service one. Actually, one of the other integrations that they've been working on for a while is the iAuditor integration, which is actually taking job information from simPRO and pre-filling that into an iAuditor template, so that when the staff are in the field, they don't have to enter, where they are, their name, the notes and descriptions. It's pre-filled into the data set. And so, there's an example, which is originally it was a custom thing from a customer. We looked at the validity of what that would bring to simPRO and to the customer base, and then we've worked it in there to be more than just a fully custom. We're actually got it now on our new platform, a lot more self-service. It's just cheaper starting point for the customer, and we've grown that. And then we have new customers come in, they give us feedback, we take that to our dev team, we build it in, and we just continually try to make that faster process to get this product out to market. So so the three sort of ways, but the cheapest way is our new self-service platform. And that's just at syncezy.com. Just contact us and we'll send you the link to the integrations page, which is our newer one. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the information is just through our website. So at just syncezy.com.
Awesome. And I'll make sure everything's all linked in the description of the video just underneath. I'll put in all the relevant details and how people can get in contact with you, man.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you very much, guys.
No, my pleasure. So thanks for joining. It's been a really enlightening chat. Like, I think there's things that you've told me about that I could probably take to my customers when they say, I wish simPRO could do this. We're like, well, we've kind of got like a little app store at SyncEzy now. So yeah, no, it's been an absolute pleasure. And it's so thank you for taking your time out of your day to join us on simPRO Chats with Daz and Adz. So again, my name's Adam from amak Consulting. You can catch me at info@amak.consulting. My amazing partner in crime down there now.
I'm Darren from Platinum Consultants. And if you have any sales related inquiries or know anyone who could use simPRO, send them my way. I'll definitely look after them for you. Darren@platinumconsultants.com.au.
And again, thank you so much for Hayden for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, guys. I'll speak to you soon.
Until then, we'll catch you in the next one.
No worries.
Bye.
See you. Bye.